Mantour Ministries presents the Mantour Guy Podcast. We may talk about football. We could mention bacon. We might reference Rocky movies. We'll probably discuss the Mantour conferences, but we'll definitely talk about how to grow in our walk with God. Here's your host, the Mantour Guy, Jamie Holden.
Hey guys, welcome to the Mantour Guy Podcast. I am Jamie Holden. I am so happy to be here with you again this week. And guys, the weather has finally begun to turn warmer again. You know, I love it. I can't believe how long it took this year for things to start to get warm again. But spring is starting to go strong and summer's going to be here before we know it. You know what, guys? When the warm weather comes out in my area, so do all the many woodland animals. And growing up in the mountainous area of Pennsylvania, I am so used to seeing many of God's beautiful creatures. And they quite often roam around our yard. I remember last year, one night, we were sitting in our living room, and our Ring alarm went off and looked at the doorbell to see what it was, and there was 4 bears walking down our driveway. It was unbelievable to see, but it's not uncommon where we live. You know, we've seen deer, squirrels, rabbits, possums, bears, foxes. Now, every one of these animals, they have distinct beauty and attributes that are specific just for that animal. But you know what? There's one creature that every time I see it, its beauty always amazes me. And I'm always just think how beautiful an animal it is when I see it roaming the property. This animal looks so stunning. Its fur is so luscious and beautiful, and it shines so elegantly. It's the deepest color black you could ever see, and this animal walks so proud and upright. Its beauty and grace is unmatched in the wooded area around my house. What is this stunning creature? Guess what, guys? It's a skunk. Now, I'm sure that answer really surprises you. I mean, most people do not look at skunks as things of beauty. They are more known for their horrible stench that they spray, how horribly the skunks smell. Skunks are not revered, they're not admired. Most people fear them. And when you get sprayed by a skunk, it affects your life for days, sometimes even weeks. The smell, it stinks and it lingers for so long. If you ever hit a skunk with a car, you know your car is going to stink for ages. And sometimes it can even get into the fabric and permanently ruin it. And when I was in college, we had a skunk that decided it was going to take up residence underneath our dorm. And it would pop up from time to time. I remember one time some friends and I came back from a McDonald's run, and we saw a skunk was sitting right on the front step of the dorm. And we were so worried that someone would instantly, open the door from inside, not knowing it was there, and they're going to get an unwelcome greeting, right in the face from this skunk. And every year, our school, we had a big banquet at the end of the year. And this event was the event of the year. It was always in the spring, once the weather turned nice. And this spring that year, it was unusually warm, so many of us had our dorm windows open. And that's when one of our friendly neighborhood skunks decided it was going to go for a stroll around our building. And one of the freshmen saw this skunk, and he got scared, and he decided he's going to chase the skunk away by throwing stuff at him. Well, you can imagine what happened next, guys. That skunk let it rip, and the smell infiltrated every window that was open. All of our clothes stank. We stank. It was awful. And then it hit us that, our good clothes, which were washed, ironed, and ready for the banquet, they now smelled like skunk. Well, finally, one of my friends had enough of this skunk. And he knew that once a skunk sprays, it can't do it again for a few hours. So he and another guy decided it was time to kill the skunk once and for all. So they covered themselves in garbage bags from head to toe. They grabbed some shovels, and they set out to kill this skunk. And they came back an hour later. They had tracked it down, they had killed it, and they had buried it. All right, so why am I telling you all this about skunks today? Why am I so fascinated with skunks in this podcast? Because I want you to see an interesting fact about men, guys. Even though a skunk is a beautiful creature, we all have enough common sense not to mess with it. They're smelly, they're destructive, and they have the potential to cause great damage to us in our lives. And guys, if we're smart enough to figure all this out, I wonder, why are so many men unable to avoid pornography? Come on, Jamie. Where'd that come from, right? I'm sure that's what you're thinking. I mean, that just came out of the blue there. But think about it. Men look at the beautiful women in pornography, they gaze at their seductiveness, and they lust at their sexual appeal. They fantasize about these women, yet they fail to realize that pornography is way more destructive than a skunk could ever be. Pornography will ruin a man's life. It is the most addictive thing in the world. When men see a pornographic image, it releases a special chemical in our brains that causes the memory to be etched in our minds. And that is one reason it is so hard to break free of pornography. Pornography is one of the leading causes of divorce. Many marriages have been destroyed by it. It causes men to look at women as objects. They lose sight of the humanness of women, and it often leads to abuse. Porn causes men to lose touch with reality. They live in a fantasy world where the women never have needs or problems in life. They're not real women. They never grow old. Their looks never change. And when they do, there's always another girl in the industry to come along to replace them. And then they date another woman. They're married to a real woman with emotional and physical problems. And men have unrealistic expectations for the women in their lives. And when they aren't met, they eventually end up divorced. Pornography opens the door to marital infidelity. Men who would never cheat on their wives begin to find themselves attracted to the woman at work or the clerk at the store. And before you know it, marriage is destroyed and lives are ruined. Pornography is such a dangerous trap. It is way more dangerous than a skunk could ever be. But many men take way more precautions with a skunk than they ever do with their TV or the internet. And guys, in the words of Paul, this should not be so. Every man has a choice of how to deal with pornography in their lives. You can either deal with it like the freshman dealt with the skunk and just throw a bottle at it and not take it seriously, or you can do what my friends did and take strong action and kill it in your life. And guys, I want to share with you some action you can take to spare yourself the hardships that porn will bring into your life. And we're going to do that right after this break.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Like what you're hearing? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks.
All men want one thing in life, to be remembered. The good news is we all have a legacy. This is the question though. Will you leave behind a good legacy or a bad legacy? Learn how to create a godly legacy in Mantour Ministries' book, Legacy, Living a Life That Lasts. By reading the stories of godly men from the Bible, working through the study questions, and taking up the legacy challenges at the end of each chapter, you'll be well on your way to living a life that lasts. It also includes a bonus workbook that you can use with your small groups. Order your copy today at mantourministries.com. How will you be remembered?
Order your copy today at mantourministries.com.
Listen to the Mantour Guy podcast on the go via Apple Podcast and Google Play. Thanks.
With the advent of the internet, pornography became affordable, anonymous, and accessible. And with this affordability, anonymity, and accessibility, porn in the minds of many gained a greater acceptability. What we once called hardcore porn, we now call softcore porn. What we once considered softcore, we just now call Game of Thrones. Today, one can easily say that porn has become the norm, and that is even among churchgoers. A recent survey discovered that 64% of Christian men admit that they view pornography at least monthly. That percentage goes up to 77% when considering just millennials, those who are 18 to 30 years old. Among millennials, 36% say they view porn daily. The same survey looked at women, and 13% of Christian women said they had never looked at porn. 33% said that they view porn at least a few times a year, and 15% said they view it at least once a month. To get 250 more pornography statistics, complete with original references and sources, go to covenanteyes.com/pornstats and download the complete report for free.
Sign up for Covenant Eyes using the code MANTOR at checkout and receive 1 month of free service. Visit covenanteyes.com today to sign up, and remember, 1 month of free service when you use the code MANTOR. That's MANTOUR.
Yep. You're listening to the Mantour Guy Podcast.
Hey guys, Jamie Holden here, and I want to tell you that God is moving in our prison systems. And Mantour Ministries, well, we're on the front lines, and you can help. We are giving inmates our books and resources, and guys, the testimonies we're receiving back have been amazing. You know, one person reported that they had 30 men gathering, and 25 of them were delivered and set free from anger. Another shows how the men are weekly working together through our books and how men are growing spiritually. They're starting to have devotions and have prayer time and Bible reading in their individual lives, and they're growing. Guys, I could go on and on. Chains of bondage are being broken among our inmates. You can help us reach even more hurting men inside our prison systems when you become a monthly financial partner with Mantour Ministries. You can become a partner with us by going to mantourministries.com/partner and clicking on the Give Online button. Guys, together we can continue reaching men in our correctional institutions with the life-changing truth of the gospel.
The Mantour Guy Podcast, helping men grow in their walk with God.
Hey guys, Mantour Guy Jamie Holden here. Are you looking for a speaker at your church or for your men's breakfast, your next men's event, men's retreat, or men's conference? Well, why not bring me in to speak? God has been moving among men as I've been sharing an encouraging word of freedom and victory. We're seeing lives change, men being saved, people being set free, and guys, chains are being broken. So if your church has hurting men and women, contact me to come share this encouraging word of hope and victory to help you grow in your walk with God.
Welcome back to the Mantour Guy Podcast.
Welcome back, guys, as we continue to look at how pornography infects our lives and steps that we can take to gain freedom from pornography. We need to be men who begin to take pornography as seriously as it is. Guys, we gotta avoid it at all costs. We must take every precaution we can take. Use your TV V-chip to block out all sexual content from your TV. Use parental controls that are available on internet browsers. Guys, use Covenant Eyes. You all know I'm a firm believer in Covenant Eyes. We advertise it on this podcast every week. I use it. My family uses it. I believe in Covenant Eyes so much that I signed up as an affiliate with Covenant Eyes so that we could make a code of Mantour, M-A-N-T-O-U-R, that's M-A-N-T-O-U-R, that helps you get 30 days free to try it. I believe in Covenant Eyes, I support it fully, and I know that it helps men break free of pornography. Guys, take advantage of it. Guys, find men that you can be accountable to. Talk about your struggles with pornography openly and honestly with them. And take whatever steps are necessary. Do whatever it takes to break free, guys. Jesus said in Matthew 5, if your right hand offends you, cut it off. And he wasn't suggesting self-mutilation. We all know that. He was saying we are better off getting rid of whatever causes us to sin, even if it hurts. And if porn on the internet causes you to sin, you might need to get rid of the internet. The internet is handy, and people got along without it for centuries, though, guys. And if it causes you to sin, better to lose Google temporarily than to lose your soul eternally. You can use Covenant Eyes, or you could go cold turkey and just get rid of the internet once and for all. Guys, they say desperate times call for desperate measures. Do whatever it takes to avoid pornography. If you find yourself trapped in pornography, now is the time for action. Immediately confess your sin to God. Ask Him to forgive you for every time you are involved in pornography. Ask Him to show you the effects pornography has had on your life and your relationships. Ask forgiveness of everyone that your pornography has affected. Guys, this is going to be hard, but it will help you overcome. Pornography carries such a heavy spiritual oppression with it, and you need to conquer this oppression by renewing your mind with God's Word. Guys, to lose your mind with the Bible. Find godly brothers you can confess your weakness to and ask them to help you and keep you accountable. And guys, finally, avoid whatever you did to view pornography. If you viewed it on the internet, take a 1-month sabbatical away from the computer. Give up TVs and movies for a month. Use the time you use on these things and study God's Word. Men, you're in a battle for your mind and your soul. Take it seriously. Do whatever it takes. Pornography, guys, it's a deadly creature. It is time for men to stand up and realize what a danger it really is. If we can do it with skunks, those smelly little creatures, we should be able to do it with this deadly trap of the enemy. Do whatever it takes, guys, to break free of porn.
The Mantour Guy's final thought.
Guys, I really hope you take this podcast seriously today. I have seen pornography ruin way too many lives, too many families, and too many men's walk with God. But guys, there is hope. I'm going to be open and vulnerable with you. In my past, I have had a huge struggle with pornography. But I was able to break porn's grip on my life using the very methods in this podcast that we talked about today. Guys, freedom is available. A new, fresh start can be yours. Do whatever it takes to break porn's grip and take whatever actions are necessary to stay free. Well, guys, we are out of time this week. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate how you take time every week to listen to us. If you're new to the podcast, we'd love to have you go to Apple Podcast, iTunes, and Google Play. Subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Also, make sure to head to our website, mantourministries.com, and check out our books and our resources and our monthly newsletters available there. And you can read the first chapter of most of our books for free at mantourministries.com. So visit the website, guys. But once again, thanks for joining us. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week on the Mantour Guy Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Mantour Guy Podcast. Be sure to visit mantourministries.com to learn more about our books, men's ministry resources, and our Mantour conferences.
Hey guys, Jamie Holden here. Did you know that only 10% of churches have a healthy, thriving men's ministry? That's only 1 out of 10 churches. Well, my mission is to see this number become 100%. Join me in my work with HEUS Missions to help develop men's ministry in the local church. Become a monthly financial investor in the work God called me to do by going to mantourministries.com/partner and clicking on the Give Online button. Together, we can see God continue to move among men. One more thing before I wrap up this week, guys. You need to head to covenanteyes.com and sign up today to protect you and your loved ones from the many traps awaiting you on the internet. I am a Covenant Eyes user. I just signed my 69-year-old father up and put Covenant Eyes on his phone and his laptop. I believe in it. It's an amazing tool. It helps you stay pure online. Guys, I encourage you to try it today. If you use the code Mantour, you get 30 free days. That's 30 free days. What do you have to lose? So head to covenanteyes.com, try it today. Like I said, what do you have to lose, guys?
The Mantour Guy Podcast, helping men grow in their walk with God.